voodoo voodoo on me. What? You hit me with that voodoo.
Plans are to prosper you. Plans not to harm you. Plans to give you hope in the future. Trust in the Lord and He will guide you.
What's up, y'all? It's your girl Winnie and I'm back with another video. So I'm doing a mukbang today. I have some ramen, homemade ramen. I have a vanilla Coke. Well, you can't see, but I have a vanilla Coke. I have some pot stickers, some fried pot stickers, and some crispy chicken skin on top. I don't know how crispy it is now because it's set for a little while, but yeah. So this story time right here, whoo, y'all, is about my time in Kansas. Okay. Oh, so I made ramen because I like ramen. So I have in here, I have some tapatio, okay? I have some chicken thigh meat that I shredded. And like I said, I have some crispy chicken skin that I seasoned with salt, pepper, and Mrs. Dash chicken seasoning. And the pot stickers, it is pot stickers that, sorry. They just pot stickers that I fried up. Tried up. You know what I'm saying? So y'all, I was working at Fort Myers, working at DIA, the Defense Intelligence Agency. I was a analyst, but what they were trying to do was they wanted me to be an attaché, I think. Basically, they were trying to send me out to a foreign country. But, so the reason why they were upset when I first showed up there and I was pregnant is because they wanted to send me out to another country. And so I was like, well, I ain't know that this was the job entailed. Ain't nobody said that to me. And ain't nobody asked me them questions. So, I was there I got there in 2010, and I was there till March of 2013, she tripping. So basically, I worked on an Afghanistan task force at the Pentagon. All this is still under the umbrella of DIA. I worked like in an orderly room type position. What else did I do? I don't know. I did a lot. Yeah, I did a lot. And so then I worked at another place within DIA. I don't remember what it was because I was good and pregnant by then. But worked there as well. And so then I come down on assignment to go to Kansas. And I'm devastated. I'm like, because I had always said, I was like, Lord, I would never want to go to Kansas. That's one place I would never want to go. So I come down on assignment, and I'm able to defer it. I deferred 30 days, deferred 30 days, deferred 30 days. And then finally, the civilian S1 clerk was like, look, we can't defer it no more. So, household goods people come pick my stuff up. And I actually left Joni because her dad was supposed to be on assignment to Germany. And so he only had 4 months. So we decided that it was best for her to stay with him while, so that way she, he can spend that time with her, because once he went to Germany, who knows how long it would have been until he saw her. Okay. So I'm on my way to Kansas. I drive through West Virginia. And so I'm like, man, man, why I gotta go to Kansas? And as I'm speaking to you, I hear a voice clear as day saying to get closer to me. And I was like, what? I'm like, whatever. So I show up in Kansas and like, I'm just heartbroken. I gotta leave my, I left my life in DC behind, you know what I'm saying? To come to Kansas because I'm on assignment, blah, 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 whoop, whoop, whoop. So basically I was hating life. So I was in the, I guess it's called replacement, where you signed in and stuff. And the unit was deployed, ironically enough. So I get to my unit and the NCOIC, Sergeant Galpin and Major Wentz. Yeah, Major Wentz. Don't know where that came from, but okay. I get there, I sign in, and Sergeant Galpin and Sergeant Wentz pulled me to the side in the conference room. And I'm looking like, what's happening? I just got here. And so, basically Major Wentz was super offended. And, she was like, why did I keep deferring? Did I not want to be with them? That's what she said. She didn't say the unit. She took it personal and thought that I didn't want to be with her. But you got to remember that when you are, if you don't know, it's like going to a new job. So basically, unless you know somebody there, you don't know anybody. So I didn't know nobody at Kansas. I don't know you, lady. Like, why are you taking it personal? She took it mad personal. So I just informed her. I was like, look, my family is back in DC and I'm sitting here to Kansas and I don't have any family here. I'm getting emotional. So, I broke it all down to her or whatever. She felt a little bit better, I guess. I don't know. So then, so I signed in there or whatever. And like I said, they're on rear to chat. I'm on rear D again. And they, it's all good. You know what I'm saying? We ain't really doing nothing on rear D. And then I met this guy. He brought a soldier over there to us, and because we didn't have hardly any soldiers where I was at, maybe 4. So he tried to bring another one. And so I was like, nah, Sergeant. Nah, we ain't taking that soldier. No. I was like, you can take him back with you. And so, so he was like, I ain't leaving, he's not going back. So we going back and forth, right? So I was like, no, you go ahead and take him with you. So this dude go, and I think he got his battalion commander, something crazy. And so basically he went over my head because he was like, nah, you taking a soldier. And so the soldier looking like, what in the world is going on? Because I didn't want that responsibility. I'm like, soldiers on rear D be tripping. It'd be a lot. So basically, Pierce, that's his name. That's his first name. So Pierce and I, after that became, oh my goodness, tighter than ever. And at the time, he was my A1, day one from A1. Wait. Day one. Anyway, so we was cooling him up after that or whatever. And we talked about it. We still talk about it to this day. He'd be talking about some, oh, you remember when you didn't want to take that soldier and I did it? Yes, I remember that I didn't want to take that soldier. I didn't want the soldier. So, at this time, my grandmother, she was sick. And so she, what did I do? So I got there March of 2013, and I got to my unit April of 2013. And so I didn't go home at all. Yeah, I didn't go home at all initially. Initially, I just, you know, I stayed in Kansas, or I went from Kansas to Atlanta, Kansas to Fayetteville. So I was just, you know, bouncing, you know, I was just going back to the East Coast, you know what I mean? Kansas to Maryland, I would just be bouncing back and forth. Because I didn't go home at all, which was odd because I was only 8 hours away from Texas. Well, not from Texas, from my hometown. So I know for sure I went back home December 2013. And so you guys have heard this story before, but you're going to hear it again. So at this time, my grandmother is sick. She's really sick. Like, she's frail. She's like a shadow of who she once was. And, golly. I'm good, thank you. So, the Lord gave me 3 weeks with my grandmother. So at this time, you know, I'm doting on her, caring for her, taking care of her, just spending quality time with her, you know, asking her about the family tree, you know, and she went back, like, her information was so helpful that, like, whenever I started putting it in on Ancestry.com, like, the information that she gave, because she went back as far as, like, I think she went as far back as my great-great-grandmother. And so with that information, I was able to put it in Ancestry, and I was even able to go further back, I think, to like my great-great-great-grandmother. And so then, like, people started reaching out to me saying that they were my cousins and stuff like that. I have not reached back, but because for me, that's not why I did Ancestry.com, but that's a whole nother video. So I got to spend 3 full weeks with my grandmother, December of 2013. So then she died February 25th, 2014. And so at this time, like, my life is it's a mess. It's in shambles. It's all over the place. Like, ain't nothing going my way. Okay? Nothing. And so then 59 days later, my aunt passed away. And at this time, I wasn't able to go to the funeral. Because they were saying, you know, they were like, she's not a primary, she wasn't a primary caretaker, which is true, but, you know, it's still, she's my favorite aunt, so I want to go to the daggone funeral. So then from there, like, all I remember was like my life was like in a black hole. So I'm going to the club, I'm having people over to my house, I'm making Jello shots. I'm making drunk gummy bears. What else did I do? I'm drinking and driving. It was so bad that one night I took 8 Jaeger bombs. In one night. And so, just, my life was just, you know what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't that I didn't have anything to live for, but you know, nothing could help. And so around, I want to say around June of 2014, you know, that black cloud started to lift. And so it's lifting, you know, slowly but surely, but you know, I'm still wilding out. You know what I'm saying? Because, and the reason why I mention all that stuff is because, like, for me, doing all that stuff, no. I didn't do that. Like, I didn't go to the club. Like, I wasn't a club goer. Like, you know, I was just a safe person. Like, I would normally be the designated driver for people when they would go out to the club, so on and so forth. And so, like, I think, like, my mom was just gone. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't care anymore. So one day, I guess I will tell this story. So one day my brother calls me when I get to Kansas, and he was like, hey, you know, the Lord wanted me to tell you, you know, to not get into a relationship. He was like, hey, he was like, you know, if you get into a relationship, it ain't gonna last longer than 6 months. And so no, I think, yeah, he was like, it ain't gonna last longer than 6 months. Like, what? It ain't gonna do what? So I was like, okay, all right. And so basically he was telling me that the Lord wanted me to focus on him. So if you remember, that's what, you know, the voice said when I was driving from West Virginia to Kansas. Well, when I was in West Virginia driving to Kansas. Oh, y'all, forgot to tell y'all that I stopped at Sweetie Pies in St. Louis. It was delicious. I think I got the meatloaf because I really like meatloaf. So I got the meatloaf with collard greens, and yams, and I think I got a sweet potato piece. I think I got a piece of sweet potato pie, but I'm not sure. I might have got peach cobbler because I like peach cobbler. So it was delicious. So anyway, so you know, my brother tell me this, and so I'm like, what? I'm like, whatever. So I lied to y'all not. I got into a relationship, I want to say May of 2013. By July 2013, that relationship was done. Hold on, wait. May, June, July, August, September, October. So that relationship lasted like 5 months. And then I got into my next relationship like immediately after that. And that relationship lasted 5 months. So I'm like, you put that voodoo on me. What? You hit me with that voodoo. I talk about it to this day to him. He doesn't remember saying that. You know, that's just what happens when you live by the Holy Spirit. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, okay, these relationships ain't lasting. Even when I wasn't trying to have a relationship, it didn't last either. Like nothing worked. Not even like platonic relationship, except for Pierce. He's the only platonic relationship that worked. And I'll tell you why in a minute. So, you know, September 4th, it was a Friday, you know, me and my brother, you know, have been in communication at this time for like a few weeks or a month or two, something like that. A few weeks. So, you know, we're talking. So he'll call me on my way to work. I'll call him on his way to work, so on and so forth. So on September 4th, you know, I wake up and I'm at my unit, you know what I'm saying? And I just, there's something happening on the inside. And so I'm like, what is going on? So basically I called him. And no, as we were on the phone. No, as a matter of fact, he called me right before I walked into the office. And so you know, I was like, hey, I'm searching for something. I think I'm searching for something. I don't know what it is. You know, can you help me? And so basically he was like, well, he was like, no, he was like, you need to get with Pastor Bailey. It's Bailey, did you hear that? Okay. So he was like, you need to get with Pastor Bailey. He was like, I can't really help you. So it's a Friday, and where I work at, I can't have my phone because it's a SCIF, secret compartmented information facility. And so you have to leave your phone outside. You have to get your key. I always try to get number one, try to be Bean Blossom there, but hey, it didn't always work. So, you know, then I had to get a new number. Anyway, so, you know, I just, so before I walked in, I texted Pastor Bailey, and I was like, hey, Pastor Bailey, I'm searching for something. I don't know what it is. You know, my brother told me to get with you or whatever. And so then he comes back and he was like, I think I still have the text message too, but he was like, basically it all came down to, he said, Wendy, you're searching for Jesus. And he was like, I know that you've done the church thing before, but he was like, just give Jesus a try. And so he was like, open your heart to him and he'll come to you. And so I was like, well, how do you open up your heart when you've never done that before? And he said, you know, he was like, just basically, you know, just let go, essentially is what he said. And so, after that, so we had been texting back and forth all day. And so he was like, you know, if you're, true, he was like, if this is something that you want to do, I'll be here for you. So what I ended up doing was, so I went back. So basically on Fridays was family time. And so every day at like 2:30, we would have a formation, 2:30, 2:45, to be released to go home. You know, have your weekend safety briefing. So, you know, we had our safety briefing. So I went home, and at this point, I'm at home by myself because, like I said, Joni was with her dad. And what ended up happening was his orders got deleted. So his orders got deleted. He went back to Bragg and just kept her because she was there with my parents. And so, so she was closer to family on the East Coast, essentially is what transpired. So, so then I went home, and so it's about 3:30 when I get home. So I take off, you know, my uniform top and my boots and stuff like that. And so then at this point, you know, I went back and I reread the messages. And so I was like, essentially, I was like, well, it doesn't hurt to try. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've tried everything else. I've tried, you know, alcohol and, you know, other stuff, but, you know, I haven't tried Jesus. And so, you know, I just started to pray, and I said, Lord, I need you, you know, come into my heart. You know, I've never, you know, so basically, you know, I was just in communication with the Lord. And as I'm talking to him, I began to cry, and like, you know, just cry out and just let it out. And it was such a, like, as bright as this light it is, like, that's how bright the light was that I saw. And so then, you know, I began to feel better. I felt lighter. And so then I texted Pastor Bailey back, and I said, I was like, I did it. I was like, I prayed. I was like, I feel better. And so he said, welcome to the kingdom of God. And he was like, you know, if you ever need anything, I'm here for you. So basically, you know, just a brief synopsis of my salvation testimony. Basically, I got saved through a text message. And, you know, that's very rare. The rarity, you know, is rare. Like, nobody laid hands on me. Nobody, you know, prayed for me in that way. But somebody did pray for me. And so, so then, so that's September 4th. So my nephew's birthday is September 19th. Yeah, I think that's when that baby birthday is. September 19th. September 19th. That's what I'm going to say. Hopefully it's right. So September 19th is my nephew's birthday. So this time, this is for sure, me and my mom, well, my mom and I, my mom flew from Fayetteville to Texas, and I drove from Kansas to Texas. And so my brother and his wife had my nephew's party at Chick-fil-A. So, you know, we're there or whatever. And so, you know, I got saved September 4th. And then Pierce got saved 2 weeks later. And so for me, like the 2 weeks after him, you know, I went to Texas. And so, you know, I'm bumping all this music. August Alsina, you know, his album was out. And so, you know, going back to Kansas, I'm listening to Shade 45 or whatever. And I just, you know, like midway to where I was, you know, to where I'm about to say from. Midway to where I was going in Kansas, you know, Fort Riley, I just had no desire I no longer had the desire to listen to, you know, that music or whatever. And then when I got back, like that same week, I had given, because I had bought like a whole bunch of alcohol. I ended up giving that alcohol away to another NCO, non-commissioned officer. And so, you know, instantly, you know, my life began to change. And so then in October, I went back to North Carolina to pick Jody up. And so, you know, we spent our birthday there in North Carolina. I surprised her at school. She cried. She was so scared. Then December, something was happening, but in December, essentially, not December, in November. No, yeah, December. In December, I started salvation classes at my church. And I finished salvation class early. Instead of it being 8 weeks, it was 7 weeks for me, which was rare because normally people do, you know, the whole 8 weeks. Met some new friends, some new lifelong friends. One of them is Daisy. She would text me about at least once a week, every week she would text me. And nothing big, you know, just, hey, just thinking of you, love you, so on and so forth. And so she's my sister. I don't have any, I don't have any biological sisters, but basically she's as close to a biological sister that I could have. And then I decided, you know, it was recommended to me to get out of the military because because of a life change that was coming. And so essentially, you know, I ended up getting out. Well, I put in my packet February, like the end of February of 2015, and I just caught all this flack. So basically I got out of the Army on a family care plan. And so, you know, so I put in my packet for family care plan because I didn't have a you know, short or long-term provider. So I got out on family care plan. And so it was so hard, but Captain Fitzgerald, hey, look, Captain Fitz, you know, Pierce, Sergeant Bankston sometimes, but Pierce and Captain Fitz for sure, you know, they were on it, you know, because people was like, you know, it was crazy. Like people was trying to lie on me, talking about some. It was a captain. I think his name was Holt. Captain Holt. He I don't know, he was different. But he he was trying to get me to do something that was unlawful or unethical. So it was something shady he was trying to get me to do, and I was like, I'm not doing that. I was like, no, I'm too close to getting out. I was like, I'm not doing that. And so he went to Major, what's your name? I do not remember his name. Major Murphy. He went to Major Murphy and was, you know, telling all this stuff, you know, to him and Sergeant Bankston. And so then, you know, Sergeant Bankston pulled me aside, was like, hey, did you do this? And so, you know, it was all three of us staff sergeants. And so, you know, Pierce was like, she don't even cuss. He was like, she don't cuss? Because he was trying to say, like, I said all this stuff and was dropping F-bombs and stuff. And so Pierce was like, she ain't cuss. He was like, she didn't do that. And so, you know, I had A1 grade NCOs and captains, NCOs and officers that were, you know, that would stand up for your girl. Because I was like, I didn't even do that. I'm like, now maybe if you would have called me 2 months ago, that would have been me. But I didn't even do that. So, you know, it was just crazy. Like at this time, you know, trying to get out, like I caught so much flack. I'm like, what is going on? Just let me go. Why are you trying to hold me? Let me go. God said, let my people go. Let me go. But the thing was that I was actually indefinite. And so that means that I signed my rights away. Okay. So basically it was just that you know, I was in for 20 years or more. That's basically what indefinite means. So I had no more re-enlistment options. And so, you know, it was more difficult. But I was just like, nah, man. I was like, I'm gone. Like, I was already mentally gone. You know what I'm saying? And so it was crazy. Okay, it was crazy. So got out. But before I got out, because I was gonna move back to Texas. Yeah. So I was gonna move back to Texas. And so what I ended up doing was I ended up taking Joni back to her dad and to my parents. Because going to Texas, my brother had a 2-bedroom apartment, and so like basically it wasn't gonna be enough space for all of us or whatnot. So yeah, this is where I'm going to end this video. Kansas was crazy. If I have any pictures, they will be, just randomly sprung throughout this video. I don't know if I have any because I got rid of that stuff. So, the last ones that I did have, I got rid of. But there may be some in there. So there'll just be. So with that, this has been Journey with Wendy. I, me, she, am her, Wendy. New videos are posted every Tuesday and Thursday, sometimes on Wednesdays, depending on what's going on. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel, like this video, and comment down below, okay? And this video has been about my time in Kansas / Salvation Story, because that's my life, okay? With that, your girl is, you know what that means. I'm out.